The Auditorium by C.A. Wynn.
The dark scares them.
Why do you assume they're frightened?
Have we ever found a species that wasn't afraid of the dark?
Fair point, but there could be any number of reasons they're not out and about. They might be predators hiding and waiting to pounce. We've seen plenty of species like that. Besides, the data suggest this is a place of instruction, what they call a school or university. If they're advanced enough for that, then why would they be afraid of the dark? We're advanced and we're not afraid of the dark.
We're not limited to 3 dimensions either. Look, I don't really care why we don't see them. I'm just glad there aren't any of the nasty buggers around.
I find them charming.
2 arms? Really? You find that charming? Or is it the 2 legs you like? And that nose?
It's symmetrical.
Your head is symmetrical.
Yes, of course it is. You know I was born with an extra eye. The added point of reference improves my depth perception.
That's just what your multipara told you so you wouldn't be sad. 7 eyes are ideal, always have been.
5 of my littermates also had 8 eyes. 2 others had 9.
Your multipara should have been sterilized after that batch. What a bunch of freaks.
You're too quick to dismiss the value of extra organs.
If you had an extra ink sac, would you count that as a good thing?
You know that ink sacs are vestigial. Why would I count an extra one any more valuable than the one I have?
Well, extra eyes just get in the way.
Rather than arguing, we should study this facility before one of these creatures spots us. Where do we start?
The big building over there.
Why that one? Several others are closer. We have to go through them all anyway.
I wanted to get away from whatever that smell is. Besides, the biggest one has to be the most important. Start from there and work our way back.
You don't give these creatures much credit, do you?
Hardly impressive.
We've barely seen anything of theirs. Let's try to keep an open mind.
An open mind is great if you're just starting out. I've done hundreds of these surveys. Most of them end up being the same. Take this building, for example. It's long and narrow. That makes it a place where they eat or maybe raise their young.
At a school?
You can't argue with experience.
Wouldn't it be better if we went inside, looked around? We might learn something.
I can see plenty from out here. Look, every building has these big glass sections to let the light in.
Research tells us those are called windows.
For making wind?
The data say they stop the wind.
They could stop it better if they didn't poke a hole in the wall.
That's a good point. You might be right. Maybe these windows do let in light.
At least we can see through them. I'm all for making it easier. See, this room is just like the last. What are those little tables?
I think they call them desks.
Desks and chairs all facing the same way?
That's what I see.
And this next room is just like the last 2. There are some symbols on the wall at the front. Any idea what they're for?
From what we can tell, it's one of their many languages. We haven't cracked any of them yet.
So, could be language instruction? Maybe you're right about it being a school, but what I can't figure out is why all the desks point forward like that. It's weird.
That's a little judgmental, don't you think?
Yeah, whatever. All these rooms look the same. I'm moving on to the big building over there.
You really should wait for me. You know the protocol. We have to avoid being seen.
Look at how many entrances this one has. Some of them are even double. That's why I think it's the most important building.
I thought it was the size of the structure that made it significant, not the size of the entrances.
Why can't it be both?
I suppose it could. Any idea why they have these barriers blocking the entrances?
You're asking me? They cut holes in their walls and fill them with wind blockers. These could be for anything.
All the structures have them, and most of them are doubled up like these. Hey, wait! Remember the protocol.
Check this out. It's massive inside. High ceilings. It echoes.
Keep your voice down. One of them might hear us.
And the seats are packed together in a half circle.
The building is square, but the seat configuration isn't. That's interesting.
All the seats are facing the same way again.
That has to make communication difficult.
Unless they're all saying the same thing.
But that's hardly communicating.
Another strike against them.
What do you mean strike?
Well, afraid of the dark is one.
We don't know if that's true.
The glass that lets in light?
A window.
Yeah, whatever. Still there to let in light.
Your theory, at least. Even if it's true, we've only encountered a few species that could operate without light.
Then we find that they sit in large groups facing the same direction.
You're counting that against them?
Of course. How can they communicate when they're all facing the same way?
What about that raised area over there? Could that be the reason for the uniform direction of the seats? Maybe it's like the symbols on the wall up there for instruction.
Okay, sure, maybe. But that still doesn't tell us how they communicate. Do you think one of them stands up there and the rest of them sit down here listening?
That's what I mean by instruction. It's a working theory anyway.
I don't buy it.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, like we already said, no communication.
Maybe they limit the communication for this purpose.
No way. A bunch of them listening isn't communication.
You're missing my point. Maybe this is not the place where they communicate.
But if they don't communicate here, how do they learn? You want me to believe it's instruction without learning?
I'm not suggesting it's a great approach. If they're not exchanging ideas, the most any of them will learn is what the instructor knows. And if the instructor knows very little or is poor at communicating,
that's why I'm saying it's a strike against them.
I don't know why you're so quick to judge them.
Look, how long have you been doing this? After a while, you learn to judge and move on. There's only so much time in the day, if you know what I mean.
So we believe that this is a room where large numbers of them sit while one or more stand on that raised platform.
And the communication is between the one up there and who? All these down here?
It's hard to argue with the data, but I'm only speculating.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to commit to anything.
What's that supposed to mean?
Remember when we landed on that planet with the giant crater?
Just about every planet we visit has a giant crater.
I'm talking about the one where you kept hemming and hawing over whether it constituted a crater or was too big to be one.
Oh, that one.
A crater so large it's practically a quarter of a planet's surface, and you're not sure it's a crater.
What does that have to do with this?
We find a place these creatures built with their 2 arms and legs. Then we decide that they all sit looking at the same thing. Somehow, you can't see that this limits their ability to communicate.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say anything. That's what I mean when I say you won't commit.
So tell me why they don't sit in a circle facing each other.
Let's think about it. Afraid of the dark means not very brave.
I'm still willing to debate that point.
Okay, let's forget about the dark. Most social systems have leaders and followers. There usually aren't as many leaders, right? I mean, who do they lead if not the others? So followers would sit down here. The one who stands up there is the leader. How about that?
I'll concede the point about leading. Even leaders benefit from communication. Again, I wouldn't call it a sound approach. They could learn and collaborate much better if they communicated more.
Something we agree on. They can't communicate well if they don't face each other.
At least we don't.
Now what's your point?
It's just that we're assuming they communicate like we do. Maybe they're telepathic.
How likely is that?
Well, maybe they communicate in some other way.
What, like slapping their sides together? At least that would make sense in a room like this.
Yeah, I guess it's not likely, is it?
No.
So we have a species, advanced enough to build complex structures.
with only 2 arms and 2 legs.
Yes, despite their limitations, they've started a civilization.
A start, but not going to get much further.
Not if this is how they communicate.
So our report?
Well, the data still don't show they're afraid of the dark.
I already said I dropped that.
The species shows promise. How does that sound?
With only 2 arms?
Flawed, yes, but they still show promise. Surely you can't blame them for their physiology.
Said the beast with 8 eyes.
End of The Auditorium by C.A. Wynn.